Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So as you guys can see by the background, I have switched up where I am filming today. My bedroom is just getting really dark and dreary. I've got you guys sitting in front of a window, so I'm hoping the lighting's alright. I feel like the background looks really dark, but it's just a really grey and cloudy day today. As you guys can see by the title of this video, this is like a moving out essentials type video. I'm aiming this video for if you're either straight moving out of home to go flatting, or if you've been to uni for a year living in the halls and then you're moving out into a flat either by yourself or with someone else and you just really don't know what to buy or where to start. So I thought I would make this video to try and help you guys out a little bit. So I'm going to be talking about some big items that I would recommend purchasing, and then just like some smaller items that I think you will need immediately to start off with. Also some suggestions on where you can buy some of these items for a very budget friendly and affordable price. I have also previously done a video all about my moving out advice, so I'll leave that video down below as well and in the eye, because I feel like that will also be very helpful. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump straight into this video. So I thought I would start off with some of the bigger items that I would recommend you purchase. First item that you obviously need is a bed. So whether that means you start off with just getting a mattress, whether you actually start off with getting a mattress and a bed frame, whatever you do, you need a bed, because you need to be able to sleep somewhere comfortably, especially if you've got to get up and go to uni or go to a job. You don't want to be in pain because of the bed that you've been sleeping on. Again, depending how many people you're moving out with will depend on the amount of beds that you guys will need to purchase. If you're moving out on your own, obviously you'll just need one bed, probably just a single bed or maybe a queen size bed. If you're moving out with a partner, then obviously you will need at least a queen size bed. Also, sorry if you can hear construction in the background. It's been a real nightmare today to try and film. Obviously if you're moving out with like flatmates and there's like 2 or 3 of you, then obviously you will each need a bed. Single beds are the least expensive beds, and then as you move up to like a California king size bed, those get a little bit more pricey. So depending on what your price range is, you need to get a bed that will fit your price range. Beds, you can just look anywhere, whether that is on Facebook Marketplace, whether that is Trade Me, whether that is like in op shops, or whether you do want to invest and start with a brand new bed. It's completely up to you. The bed that I have in my apartment is actually Phil's bed. So Phil is my fiance. It is a queen size bed, and I'm pretty sure he got it from his auntie because it was just an excess bed that she didn't need. My fiance has moved out. He is at a different flat at the moment. His bed frame we actually found at a charity shop, and the mattress his flatmate who owns the house just bought second hand and just cleaned it really well. So that was really great. The next thing that you will need is a fridge. Obviously you want to make sure you've got a fridge, because when you do your groceries you're going to have colds like your milks and your meats that need to go in a fridge freezer type situation. Whether you get a fridge with a fridge on the top, freezer on the bottom, or freezer on the top, fridge on the bottom, you need one with at least a fridge and a freezer, so then it saves space, especially if you're moving into a small apartment. I think most fridges nowadays will either have a fridge on one part and a freezer on the bottom part. This I would recommend you buy new if you can, or if you've got like a family member that you trust that has an extra one, ask if you can use that. Our first fridge Phil bought second hand from, I think it was from a charity shop, and it lasted us about a year, and then it started to die and it would just end up like freezing over our meat, so we couldn't actually get our meat out. And that's how you tend to know that like the freezers are dying, is when they like ice up too much. So the fridge that we've currently got in here at the moment, my mum actually had as an excess fridge. So when we got rid of that other fridge, we looked at getting a new one, but then my mum ended up giving us this one for free, which is great because fridges can be expensive. Those are one of the things I would recommend you invest and buy new, but again it's up to you and what you want to do and what your price range is. The next thing I would recommend that you buy new is a washing machine. So again, for the exact same reason as the fridge. Washing machines will probably start to die quite quickly because you're using them all the time, so if you buy secondhand it probably will die quicker than if you buy a new one. So again, it just depends on what your financial situation is, but you need a washing machine obviously to be able to wash your clothes. For me, a dryer isn't an essential to start off with, especially if you live in New Zealand, because it tends to be quite hot a lot of the time, so you can just dry your clothes outside, but you can look at a dryer down the line. The washing machine that we've got in this apartment, it isn't actually ours, like technically the people that own the apartment that own it, but it is a washer and a dryer, so you can get ones that are built in to each other, so then it just saves the space and saves the extra money buying two different electronic things. Again, if you do want to buy the second hand from a trusted person, that is completely fine. So I've just changed the angle because my knees were getting sore because I was sitting on them. The last kind of like bigger item that I would recommend that you get is a bin. You need somewhere to be able to put all of your scraps of food and your packaging and your rubbish. So then we move on to some of the smaller items that I would recommend that you get. I can't show you these items because they're too big and I don't want to like pull them off the bed, but you need a set of sheets, you need a duvet, and you also need a pillow with a pillowcase. So I wouldn't say a duvet cover is an essential to start off with, just because it's more important that you get the duvet rather than duvet cover, but if you can get a duvet cover for cheap for second hand, then that is great as well. Obviously you need your sheets to put on your bed, you need a duvet to keep you warm, especially for the winter months, and then a pillow with a pillowcase. Blankets are optional depending on how warm or cold you get. At least if you've got the duvet and a sheet, it should keep you warm for at least a little bit until you can get that extra money behind you to get a blanket, because blankets can be very expensive. All of these smaller items I would recommend you either look in charity shops, Facebook Marketplace, Trade Me, or even Kmart. Same with a bin, you can get bins at Kmart for really cheap. When we moved out, Kmart was my best friend. Kmart is still one of my best friends to this day. A good probably 3/4 of my house is from Kmart, and there's nothing wrong with the Kmart stuff too, like it's all actually really good quality. They've really upped the game over the past few years. Hopefully I'm in kind of the same position. My battery just died and my SD card was getting full, so I had to change those, but we're back. I would recommend getting a pillow as well. You can get really cheap ones from Kmart that are actually really good quality. So then we move on to some kitchen items. So you want to start with getting a set of bowls and a set of plates. So again, depending how many people you are moving out with will depend on how many of these you need. If you get like a big set, it will usually have about 4 bowls, 4 plates, and 4 like small side plates. So I would recommend getting a big pack of those. You can find those pretty much anywhere, just because you're gonna need like bowls and plates pretty quick when you move out. The next things that I would recommend getting is a set of cutlery, including teaspoons and a sharp knife. So this one is our Smeg knife. Obviously you probably don't want to start off with Smeg stuff because they're expensive. Yeah, just a sharp knife that you can cut vegetables with, cut meat with, and then obviously, yeah, a set of cutlery because you're gonna need to eat with cutlery. Again, depending how many people you're moving out with will depend on how many you need. So next up we have mugs and glasses. So again, depending how many people you're moving out with will depend how many of these you need. My usual rule of thumb when I'm buying things is like 1 and a spare, just so that like if it's dirty or it's in the wash, then you've got 1 spare to use, if that makes sense. Again, you can find mugs and glasses in charity shops or in Kmart for an affordable price, online. If you do buy anything from a charity shop though, whether that is linen, clothing, or like cutlery and stuff, I would recommend obviously washing it first, making sure it's clean, because A, you don't know how long it's been sitting on the shelves, and B, you don't know whether they would have washed it before it went in the shop. Chances are they haven't, so yeah, you just want to make sure that everything you're using is clean and hygienic, especially with COVID. The next thing I would recommend that you get is a saucepan or like a pan, something to cook with, maybe even 2, just so that you can have like meat going in one and vegetables or potatoes in another. Whatever you kind of feel like, I would just get a set of pots and pans. The next 2 tools I would recommend that you get is a fish slice and a spatula. Again, these will come in handy. Even if you don't do a lot of baking, I would recommend getting a spatula, just because, yeah, you never know when things like that are gonna come in handy. Next, I would recommend you get a pair of tongs. So again, these come in handy all the time. So the next couple of items I would recommend you get are some towels. So the first type of towel you will need is a tea towel, obviously to dry dishes or to wipe your hands on. And the other thing you will need is a bath towel or a shower towel, because obviously you need to clean yourself, so you need something to dry yourself with. The next few things actually I would recommend getting, even if you're not a big baking person, I would recommend getting a set of mixing bowls, because these come in handy all the time. Even if you're not using them to like bake, you can use them to like mix different like herbs and spices, or to like put meat in to like get it seasoned. And on that note, you also want a set of measuring cups and a set of measuring spoons. These both aren't the full complete set that we've got of either of these. Some of them are in the wash and some of them are just scattered everywhere. I really need to organize our kitchen, but these will come in handy all the time, again, even if you don't bake. The next thing I would recommend that you get is a chopping board. Again, I would recommend getting two, just so that you can cut up things like chicken on one and then cut up veggies on another. These come in handy all the time. You definitely want to make sure you've got at least one of these. So the next couple of items I can't actually show you because they're more like electrical items, but I would recommend that you get a toaster. Whether you are a big toast person or not, please get a toaster, just so that you've got that option. Bread is extremely cheap. A lot of the time it's cheaper than cereal, so in the mornings you can just quickly chuck in a piece of toast. We've had our toaster since Phil and I first moved out. By July this year I would have been living out of home for 3 years. When we move, I do want to treat ourselves to a Smeg toaster, but they're very expensive, so I'm not kind of buying it until we're planning on moving away. They're really affordable. Even the Kmart ones, they last and they're affordable. On that note, I would also recommend you get yourself a jug. Again, we've had the exact same jug since Phil and I first moved out. Again, when we move away, I do want to get a Smeg jug, because we've got a Smeg knife block and I just want them all to match. But again, they're really expensive, so I'm just holding off until we get married and until we move. But yeah, you need a jug, obviously, whether that is for boiling water for cooking, whether that is for a coffee in the morning or a tea. You just need a jug. Like, it comes in handy so often, or even for like hot water bottles at night too, if you need a hot water bottle. The next thing I would recommend you get is a pair of scissors. These will come in handy so often, whether that is for cutting into packaging to open something like cereal, or I don't know, anything that doesn't have like a little fold up or a little like tear across thing, or even if that is for like cutting open like flat pack furniture when you move out. Scissors come in handy all the time, and we didn't have a pair of scissors when we first moved out, and it was one of the things that we actually went out and bought pretty quick after we moved out, because we realized how much we need scissors. The next thing I would recommend that you buy are some pegs. Obviously you need to be able to peg down your washing to hang it outside so it doesn't fly away. Again, you can find pegs really cheap at places. These pegs were actually in a pack from Kmart. You get 48 pegs and it's like $3, so such a good deal. You can't go wrong, but it's one of those things you don't realize you need. Something else that you need that I won't show you because ours is really gross is a dish brush. You need to be able to scrub your dishes clean, whether you have a dishwasher, so you just rinse them, scrub them, put them in the dishwasher, or whether you actually need to hand wash all of your dishes. You need a dish brush to make sure you can get your dishes clean. And then the last thing that I would recommend that you get that's an essential is some cooking trays. So whether that is to put sausage rolls on, or hash browns, or chips, or even just like chicken or something to put in your oven, you need to make sure you've got at least one cooking tray to be able to put stuff on. Again, I'm a big believer in you should get an item and a spare item, again, for if it's in the wash. But yeah, this is everything that I would recommend you start off with. Obviously you could add in things like a microwave, which I think depending on you as a person, will either be an essential or not an essential, because I feel like if you've got an oven, you can pretty much use your oven for everything that you can use a microwave for. But again, if you do a lot of baking, you can't melt your butter in the oven, you need to melt it in a microwave. So I know a lot of people say when they're moving out that they need a couch. I personally don't think a couch is an essential to start off with, unless obviously you're wanting to have people around. But you can literally just sit on your bed and eat, or you can just sit on the floor. Again, that's why I haven't put like a dining table or a coffee table, because again, depending on where you're moving will depend on how much space you have and whether you can even fit like a couch or, you know, a dining table. It might just be that you can only fit like 2 armchairs, so that's why I haven't included those. But again, depending on the type of person you are will depend on like your list of essential things. These are just the basic things that I would make sure you have when you are leaving home. If you are still at home and you're looking at moving out within the next year or the next couple of years, I would recommend you start putting some things away just in like a little box of things that you'll need when you move out, because moving out is very expensive, because you have your bond to pay up front, which is usually a large sum of money, and then you've usually got to pay like at least 1 to 2 weeks rent in advance. So again, that gets really pricey. And then if you're trying to like buy everything you need for a flat on top of it, it can be very, very expensive. We learned this kind of the hard way, so learn from my mistakes and just start prepping while you're at home. A lot of these smaller items you can find in charity shops. Kmart also do brand new things for like $2 to $3 depending on what you're getting, so I would highly recommend looking there. Most of our mugs I thrifted when we started off in our flat. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if I've missed anything, but I'm pretty sure this is kind of like the basics that I would start off with. Yeah, moving out is really exciting. It can be a little bit scary because suddenly like you're responsible for all of your bills, but I honestly wouldn't change it. I don't think I could go back to living at home. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Please make sure to turn on the notifications and check out my social media. It's always linked down below in the description box. And if there are any more like moving out related videos that you'd like me to film, let me know in the comments down below. When we do move out of this flat, which will hopefully be, Lord willing and COVID willing, next year, I do plan to vlog us packing up this flat and moving to our new flat and unpacking everything there, because we are looking at moving cities, because we're looking at getting married next year and we don't want to live in the same city that we got married in. So that will be very exciting, and I'm already excited to film it, even though we're still like at least a year away. And yeah, I think that's everything, so I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Still looks really dark in here, which is really annoying because I feel like this whole flat is just really dark all the time. Oh my gosh, there's a wasp that's like trying to get inside. That noise is coming back.